1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hid your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the Game Week 11 knee-jerk stream. For anyone watching live on YouTube, there does seem to be some YouTube issues at the moment with streaming. It's nothing to do with my end. My connection's all good. And so we're just going to test this, right? If it doesn't work for a while, after a while, then I will just delete this and you'll never hear it anyway. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know if there's any issue. How about tomorrow? There's no Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'll see. Let's just see how this goes. There's some big scores in the chat. 94, 79, 75, 75, 75. Lots in the 70s. I'm on 73 on wildcard. It's been a bit of a weird week. I'm not sure. It just felt like lots of stuff didn't go well. Like, obviously, a wild carded in Burmo out, for example. Pickford got a clean sheet, although he only got 2 more points than Areola, so it wasn't a huge issue. But I'm on a green arrow, so I probably just shouldn't complain that much and just enjoy it. I think we always focus on the negatives with FPL. The positives are, I'm on a green arrow. I've gone from like 913k to 740k or something like that. So it's not a massive jump, but it's decent enough. So I'm probably going to just enjoy it. I had Areola in goal, 3 points. Simicast, clean sheet. Cash, clean sheet. So that I was talking before about how I didn't know if Cash would be worth the extra money. I was going to say Cash as well, over Pau Torres or someone like that. But because he got the clean sheet, then got subbed, and then they conceded, that's already what, like plus 4 points, plus 3 points, something like that. So a little bit of an edge there. Gabriel didn't play. I mean, I guess that's karma because I obviously got the news in game week 1 and went without him. Got Saliba. And now I've got Gabriel, he's been benched. Now, I think it was probably a rest, so I'm not hugely worried. But it does mean that Arteta's prepared to drop him at points. So it is a little bit of a concern, but I'm not massively worried about it. And plus, next week I'm going to be benching him anyway. That was always the plan. And because Gabriel didn't play, I got Charlie Taylor off the bench, who conceded twice to Bournemouth, but scored a goal. So happy with that. A few people asking how my dog is. Thanks for all the messages. So she went into the vets on Friday, and she's been there since. So she's been 2 nights now at the vets, which really sucks. But we should be able to get her back tonight around 10 p.m. So fingers crossed she'll be back home tonight. She's doing better. Just one of those things. She just had an adverse reaction to a vaccine, and yeah, it just wasn't great. So the dog should be good. Moving on with the team. So Taylor comes on for Gabriel. I benched Palmer, and so once he'd blanked against Brentford, I felt quite relaxed about João Pedro, because whether he started or not, it didn't really matter because Palmer only got 2 points. But I got to be honest, once the team sheet came out, I was still a little bit frustrated that João Pedro didn't start. So Lallana, who got no minutes in Europa League, I think he'd only just come back, was straight into the team as number 10. So João Pedro, as I did predict on the deadline stream, he's an issue straight away. He'll probably be one of my first transfers out. But as much as everyone will make out like it's a disaster, that was just extra money spent instead of Cameron Archer. So of course I now have less money to spend on the rest of the squad until I reduce that position back again. But for now, it's not really causing an issue. I can just bench João Pedro and play Palmer instead, which is what the original plan would have been. So it's annoying. I'm 1 point down. It could have been a lot worse, right? The thing that would have been really good is if I'd gone for Nketiah. I spoke about that on the deadline stream. I didn't really it wasn't like he was in my team and that was definitely going to happen. It was just It was just a thought, and I didn't go for it. Loads of people saying the stream is lagging. There's nothing I can do. I'm probably just going to stop it because it's just going to be a whole stream of just hearing people tell me it's lagging, and there's literally nothing I can do. It's a YouTube problem. So I'm probably just going to can this, I think. Yeah. Some people saying it's fine. Some people saying it's not fine. But it's just going to be constant comments about it for like the whole hour. Let's see. This is going to be fun to listen back to on a podcast. Like when I look at it myself, it's proper lagging. But lots of people saying it's fine. So we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Oh, now now I'm losing my camera. Oh, now my camera's stopped. Oh, not my night. Not my day. Why has that just randomly happened? Yeah, apart from my camera has now crashed. My camera has crashed. I'll have to hang on a second. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna try and you like my camera's crashed on your side as well, right? My camera. Yeah, camera's crashed. Okay. What a disaster. I hate streaming sometimes. The problem is it's not that easy to just reset, which is a bit annoying. You have to delete this. Hang on. I need to go into studio mode. Yeah, it's going to be crashed on every single one. Hang on. Right, I'll be back in 2 seconds. What a fun stream. Chroma key. I'll be back any minute. Any minute now. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. There we go. I don't even know where I was now. I don't even know where I was. Oh, hang on, I'll fix the sound. Christ. Okay. Now good? Now it should be good. It's not the mic. It shouldn't be echoing now. Let me know if it's echoing or not. Yeah, webcam mic's off now. Right, are we all good? Are we all good? Okay. I feel like I might actually just start it again. I might just actually act as though this is the start of the stream right now. Which would be a bit weird for you guys that have been watching the whole time. Why has Haaland got 16 points? Because I just haven't refreshed yet, that's all. I haven't refreshed, there we go. How's the lag going now? I'm going to have to put a YouTube comment below so people know. Okay, we're good. We're Gucci. We're Gucci. Okay, I'm actually gonna start again. Which is gonna be really weird. It'll just help with the podcast. Keep freezing. Super chat's not working. Ugh. No lag. No lag on 720p. No, don't never use YouTube editor. It's terrible. YouTube editor is absolutely awful. Trust me, it just makes things worse. Okay, I'm just gonna go again. I'm gonna go again properly. I'm gonna act as though this never happened. Right? Hang on a second. Here we go. I'm gonna mute the mic. I'm gonna mute the mic for a few seconds. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 11 knee-jerk stream. For anyone that's been watching live, I apologise that we're basically starting again, but the stream has been super laggy. I've had webcam issues, and I thought for the sake of people listening on podcasts, we just start it all over again and talk through everything we've already been through, although it hasn't been that much. So hopefully everyone is doing well. This is the beauty of doing live stuff, right? It's much easier when you pre-record. You don't have these issues usually, and if you do, no one sees them anyway. So I'm on 73 points this week, including bonus points and Taylor coming off the bench. So if you didn't already know, I wildcarded in game week 10, and I'm fairly certain my pre-wildcard team is probably close to this score, but I can't quite work it out properly because I didn't roll the transfer in 9, which is what I would have done if I wasn't going to wildcard. And to be honest, I think it's just better for you to not check those things. So I'm just going to take the fact that I got a green arrow and wildcard as a positive, even though this is one of those weeks where it feels like everything... Not that everything went wrong, I just feel like... It didn't feel like a lot went right, even though actually I did okay. I had Areola in goal, 3 points. Okay, I took out Pickford, who got a clean sheet, but he got a yellow card, so there's only a 2-point difference. The defence was Simicast, 6 points. Happy days. Cash got a clean sheet, then went off, and Villa conceded. Happy days. Gabriel, frustrating, because he didn't play against Sheffield United, the easiest game Arsenal will have all season, and obviously they kept a clean sheet. But I had Charlie Taylor on the bench, who scored a goal after conceding to Bournemouth. So I get him anyway. I think with Gabriel, people are going to be panicking about him. I think it shows that Arteta is happy to bench him, which isn't great. Because obviously we had this all in game week 1. It almost feels like a bit of karma, to be honest. But I do think it was a rest, and I think he'll play next week, and then hopefully he'll play against Burnley before the international break. That's my current hope. I'm benching him in game week 11 anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Midfield, I'll just get through this and then we'll go through it like a normal stream, right? So 6 points from Saka. I thought when I first saw that goal that he wasn't going to get the assist, but actually on replays it kind of makes sense, the area that it landed in. I thought that maybe someone else was the intended target. I can't remember who else was near Nketiah, I think it was, that scored. But either way, assist. Son, 10 points. He definitely doesn't look like he's carrying an injury anymore. He looks fully fit. I think he played the whole game as well. Maybe he came off right near the end. He didn't go off as early as Maddison anyway. Captain Salah, so he got the goal, clean sheet, no bonus or anything like that, but still better than Watkins, who some people captained this week. Not as good as Haaland though. Haaland smashed Man United. 2 goals, 1 assist. So, yeah, I mean, for FPL, Haaland points were good. Watching Man United is not very fun. I think the frustrating thing was picking Matoma over Diaby. So that's been absolutely smashed this week. I also took Mbeumo out on wildcard. Now, I'm not... Obviously, it's always a bit frustrating when you remove a player that hauls on wildcard, right? But that Chelsea game, he could have had other returns, I get that. But the goal is from Sanchez going up, and then... What's his name? Mopé making a pass. Did anyone actually expect him to pass? He could have scored quite easily. Like 96th minute goal on the counter from the goalkeeper going up for a corner. Like whatever. It's annoying, but it is what it is. I'm still happy with the Matoma decision despite what's happened. Thought his minutes were probably better than people were maybe giving him credit for, but it hasn't worked out. Obviously, I'd rather have Diaby or Mbeumo. And then Haaland, non-captain. Watkins blank. Classic FPL that. Everyone gets him in. He's got an expected goal involvement of like 1.4 against Luton, and he gets absolutely nothing. João Pedro... I think people will look at that as an absolute disaster. And I've got to be honest, I'm a bit frustrated with him already, as I predicted on the deadline stream. But if I hadn't if I hadn't gone João Pedro, I would have just had Archer and more money in the bank, which to be honest might come in really useful soon. But right now it's not gonna stop me doing anything. And if I didn't have João Pedro and I had Cameron Archer instead, I would have just played Palmer, who got 2 points. So I've lost 1 point basically. I think the annoying thing is that how do I even predict when João Pedro is going to play? Like, I think he might play in game week 11 because Brighton don't have a midweek game. But then they've got Europa League, which he'll probably play in, and then they've got Sheffield United at home in game week 12. And I just don't think he's going to play that game if Lallana's fit. I think Lallana will play instead. So I'm a bit annoyed at myself with João Pedro because I knew this was likely from game week 1. Like, he's just been a pain all season. I still went there. Obviously, I did talk about Nketiah on the deadline stream, and yes, it is super frustrating. He's gone and got a hat-trick, and I didn't go for it. But I was just a little bit worried about how long Jesus might actually be out for, and I thought if he's not out, if he's back soon, then Nketiah is also a transfer out as well. So I took the wrong move there, but overall pretty good. I got rid of Trippier, got 0 points. Happy with that. I'm guessing he's now no longer essential. So yeah, Taylor in for Gabriel, 73 points, green arrow, probably can't complain too much. Anyway, that's kind of the intro to this. I'm going to put my team for next week up on screen. I think the big decision for me, I'm probably going to roll. I think it just makes sense after wildcard. There's not really anyone that I feel like I need to go and get in. I mean, Watkins to Darwin Nunez, who knows? Haaland will almost certainly be my captain. That was already decided before the Man United game for what it's worth. And I guess my only key decision is whether I play João Pedro against Everton away or I play Palmer against Spurs away. I think Palmer, a harder fixture, but he's almost certainly going to start. And then João Pedro, easier fixture, but you don't know if he's going to start. Full week off, though, surely he plays. Because if he doesn't start against Everton, he's going to have like a week, like 11 days off before he starts another game. That would just be weird. Okay, let's get into your questions, right? If Gabriel doesn't play next week, do we sell him? I mean, if he doesn't play 2 games in a row, then yeah, I'd start to look to move him on for sure. But I think it was a rest. I think the key thing for me with Gabriel is it wasn't a change in system. It was just Kivior coming in for him. And like he rested Odegaard as well. So I'm not massively worried about him yet, but we will see. What to do with Neto? I mean, it depends how much money you've got to spend. If you want to stay with Wolves, you could go to Hwang. You could go up to someone like Gordon as well. If you've got even more money to spend in Burmo, Matoma, Diaby, could all be options. Why is Gabriel not playing though? Well, Arteta this time said there was some rest because players had played like 90 minutes in the international break, lots of games, etc. And that was why. So I'm not going to keep acknowledging this because otherwise it will just be the whole stream. But there are some issues with YouTube. It's not my end that the connection issues are happening with. Not this time anyway. Some people are saying if you watch on 720p, if you're watching live, then it's not so bad. But some people are saying it's R. So there's not really much I can do apart from just plow on and answer as many questions as possible. Hopefully when this processes after the stream, it'll be okay to watch. If not, this will just be a whole waste of time. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Odegaard was also rested, exactly. If only we had a nail forward from Newcastle or Arsenal, 3-4-3 would be back. Well, Isak is out until after the international break, I think. So Wilson will probably start the next 2 games, although I think it will get interesting around Champions League. Can he play that many games? I'm not quite so sure. Any updates on Tyrick Mitchell? Not seen any, no. Pickford clean sheet, yeah, but he only got 2 more points than Areola, so it wasn't the end of the world. Saliba and White have played way more games, no rest for them. But neither of them played during the international break, and Gabriel did. I mean, I don't think White and Saliba get rested. I just don't think that happens. But they didn't play during the international break, so there might be something in it. I'm not particularly worried about Gabriel, but that's what happens when you've got a deep bench, I guess. Like, I was always planning to play Gay this week, so I'll just worry in game week 12. Like, as it stands, I haven't really got a transfer for game week 12, so dealing with Gabriel would not be the worst thing. I mean, right now, if I had to guess what the transfers could be in game week 12, it's João Pedro to Archer and Gabriel to Saliba, which is not a great use of 2 transfers, but that could be what I do to get the money back. Obviously, again, this is why I'm saying João Pedro is not an issue right now, but he could be at some point. Is if I just had Archer, I'd have the money to go straight from Gabriel to Saliba, which I still wouldn't do this week. But in game week 12, I'd consider it. I think I've got Simicast against Luton away, Cash against Forest away, and Gay against Burnley away this week. That's more than fine for me. And Taylor's got Palace at home, so I don't need Gabriel. He was the choice before he even got benched. You know, like, I don't know about you, but I always set my team like straight away, and I put him third bench. The only thing that's changed based on this weekend's games is I've benched João Pedro. He was originally in the 11. So I'm not sure about that. I'd rather play him because he's on penalties, a bit more attacking than Palmer, I would say. Kyson sold in Burma and Diablo in a wildcard, 74 points. Charlie Taylor got me a green arrow. Yeah, again, like, it'd be really easy to like dwell on in Burma and Diaby out. I mean, obviously Diaby had Luton. In Burma, maybe a little bit more straightforward about removing. But yeah, the positive is you got 74 points and a green arrow, so just take it. Best Porro replacement, I have Trent, Cash, Trippier. Simicast, probably. I mean, it depends how much you want to spend, I guess, but I think Simicast is great right now. Like, he's first choice with Robertson out. So, happy days. I gotta be honest, I was watching that game on Friday. I loved it when Crystal Palace scored. So because I'd taken out Maddison, he got an assist. I'd taken out, obviously, Doggy, but he didn't play. But I knew that Spurs' ownership was quite high in defence. So, IE, thank you very much. For what it's worth, I thought I was getting no lag, but it turns out I'm watching like 20 seconds off live, and if I put it to live, then it does lag. Okay, so some people are saying if you're watching live, just put the bar a little bit back, so you're actually watching like 20, 30 seconds behind, and that should be okay. De Zerbi needs to stop messing around and just choose his best team. I think they're just basically struggling to make it work with Europe. But like, some players are playing multiple games. Adingra, Matoma, like, he just keeps changing around, like Ansu Fati, João Pedro, Lallana, Evan Ferguson. I mean, I agree. I'd love to see João Pedro get a run of games, but I would, right? I own him. It's just, I just don't know if it's going to happen. Because he said something like João Pedro and Ansu Fati are part of the best 11, and then they both got benched. So, I don't know. My team actually sucks, dude. I think it's just a flip this season. I don't think so, but again, just to kind of go over this point I've made a lot over the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of good players. And there's going to be swings like this week, right? Instead of Matoma, I could quite easily have had the RB, and I'd be up massively on points. But I could have also spent more money and had Bowen instead, right? And still be on a blank with even less money to spend elsewhere. There's just lots of good players. You know, I bought in Saka because he had Sheffield United at home. He got the same amount of points as Maddison, right? Away to Palace. There's just lots and lots of good options. And for now, this is just going to keep happening, right? There's people without Haaland. Some of them have done slightly worse than I have. Some of them done better because they've got players like Darwin Nunez. They might have Trent and Simicast double up. It's just a lot of ways to play at the moment. And it's going to be... You're basically... Obviously, like any other game week, I guess, you're hoping that your players go massive and everyone else doesn't. But because there are so many good options, it's not likely to happen in too many weeks where there's such a... Like, where you get that massive rank rise. Game Week 8 wildcarders, again, smashed it for the first couple of weeks. But I'd say that the green arrows are probably a bit smaller now because a lot of people would have caught up. So just keep going with it, right? We've had 10 game weeks. We're just over a quarter of the way through the season. There's still a long, long way to go. Don't be panicking just yet. My overall rank is 597, a better rank than yours. How's that possible? You got more points, I guess. That will probably be the explanation. How long do you think Neto will be out? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Udoggy's dropping in price tonight, apparently. Bowen is a concern for me now. Should I jump ship? Probably not. Who have they got this week? Someone away. Brentford away. I think he's probably fine to keep. 90-minute man. Decent enough goal for it. Kudus looked good today, by the way. 6.5 million. The greens are smaller because they're up the ranks. Yeah, but you're looking at percentage as well, right? Thoughts on Hwang? I think he's great. I went on FPL Juice and I think we talked about him, and I think I said if he got the same amount of minutes as Neto, I actually prefer him. He's more of a goal scorer than Neto is. It's just how will Neto being out affect Wolves overall? That's the only problem now. You captain Haaland, very nice. I mean, Haaland was 4th on my list. I felt like Salah and Saka because of the fixtures, even Watkins, but Haaland penalty taker. And obviously you got the other goals as well. I do think that penalty is a bit soft. Now, before everyone moans at me and says it's Man United bias, take off your Man United glasses or whatever, I do think it was a foul by Højlund, but they also just never get given. They never get given in the penalty box. Like, you look at Gabriel on Højlund when Man United played Arsenal. It's a very similar challenge. I didn't think that one was a penalty either, for what it's worth. So it just felt a bit soft. And by the way, there was in the second half, Maguire did much worse to Haaland than what Højlund did to Rodri. So that it's just no consistency there. So it is a penalty because it is a foul, but they never get given. Never ever get given. So it was a bit soft, but either way, do you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Man City would have smashed us anyway. Much better team. And like, we shouldn't be surprised that Haaland did well. And the thing is, I think most people without Haaland should know he's going to score goals, right? You can still do fully well. Like, there's people without Haaland that have done better than me this week, and I had him. So it's still a viable strategy. Here's what I would say: if you've gone Haaland less, is if your plan was to not get him back until like Aston Villa away in 15 or Luton away in 16, that should still be your plan. All right, 2 goals and an assist against Man United should not change that, right? You know he can do this. You know that Bournemouth at home is a great fixture. You shouldn't be panicking now, taking -8s and -4s to bring him in. You should just stick to the plan, I would say. Because what's changed? Like, Haaland scored some goals, but we know he can score goals, right? So I think you stick to the plan. I mean, I'm going to captain him. I said all along I think he's the best captain this week, but it's not like Salah is bad. Anthony should have been sent off, yeah. You shouldn't be able to do that and get away with it. He should have been sent off. Going to shoot off, going to listen to the stream on Spotify tomorrow. Dean, thank you very much. I'm not sure if it's true, but apparently Spurs versus West Ham in Gameweek 15 is postponed. Not seen anything about that. Why would it be postponed? That's a bit random. When is Gameweek 15? Like, what date is that? Gameweek 15 is like the 5th of December. It's midweek, actually. Oh, nice. We've got some. Yeah, I like the midweek fixtures. Midweek deadlines. It's Thursday, the 7th of December. I've not heard anything about that. It should be the pin back in on him selling him. Was worried about him dropping to 13.9. I wouldn't be worried about Haaland dropping to 13.9 at all, right? Because even if you, let's say he gets injured and you've got 13.9 million to spend instead of 14 million, there's no Haaland to worry about. You've got no money issues whatsoever. You should not be worried about Haaland dropping. If you think he's a great option, him dropping in price means he's got less owners. So it's actually a good thing. If he gets injured, everyone goes Alvarez if they're not already on him, and you got like 7 million to spend. Or maybe like 6.9 million because Haaland's gone down in price. It's not a big issue whatsoever. It's a non-issue, I would say. Although, watch now, Haaland's going to get injured. I'm going to have to take him out, and the team I really want, I'll be 0.1 short after he drops to 13.9. Is it a good time to get rid of Newcastle assets? I can't sound too shocked to hear that. I mean, just because I think people do react. Like, look, last week, or before Game Week 10 deadline, Newcastle players were, close to essential? Trippier? How can you go without Trippier? They were the questions coming in. And now all of a sudden, they've conceded twice to Wolves, they've drawn, and now it's like, is it time to get rid of them? What's changed? Well, they've drawn a game. Like, we knew what fixtures they had. Arsenal at home, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, Man United at home. I will say exactly what I said before the deadline. I think most of their players are still good options, but they are worse than they have been over the last few weeks because the fixtures are going to get more difficult, and that's still my answer now, really. I mean, yeah, okay, they've got a few more injuries, but is it that much of a difference? So, yeah, Cher had 5 points, to be fair. He got the assist. I've been screaming buy Nunez to people for weeks. Well, even last week when he didn't start. But yeah, fair enough. I think Nunez is a nice differential. I've talked about him a lot. I just didn't want to go with... I did say I was thinking about going for him. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I did say we should consider the fact that Nunez is 0.8 million less than Watkins, and the next 3 fixtures were just as good, really, for Liverpool. I still couldn't do it, right? Watkins nailed on. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. Almiron is essential, absolutely. Absolutely. Would I play Saliba against Newcastle away or Porro against Chelsea at home? I'd be... That's a really tricky one because Saliba plays for a much better defence. Yeah, I'd say much better. Better defence, maybe not much better. But Porro's a bit more attacking and Chelsea aren't very good at scoring goals. I'd be tempted to say Porro, honestly. Liverpool looks scary. Yeah, Liverpool attack is great. Has been for a very, very, very long time. I always seem to miss the correct captain pick. Salah this week, 68 points total and +3 for Anderson replacing Gabriel. Yeah, it happens. I mean, I've got my captains locked in for the next few weeks, apart from Game Week 13. So I just stick to the plan and hope that I get better captains more weeks than not, I would say. I don't think Nunez only started because of Luis Diaz. Jota only started because of Luis Diaz, I would say. And hopefully all that gets sorted quick, because that's horrible. Don't want that to happen to anyone. Almost definitely go and burn to Maguire for the money. I mean, Maguire does look pretty nailed at the moment, but whether Man United can keep some clean sheets, that is a whole different question. Harry, how's it going? Gordon to who? Would you not just keep Gordon? He's got Arsenal at home, then Bournemouth away. It depends how much money you got as well. Play one this week: Udogie, Mitchell, or Baldock. Probably Mitchell. Do you know what? I don't even know who Sheffield United have got, but I can't imagine it's a fixture where I think I would play Baldock over Mitchell. I mean, it's an away game for Crystal Palace, which isn't great, but I'd probably go for it with Burnley. I think Crystal Palace defence is pretty good, but you obviously have to wait and see. Like, Udogie and Mitchell are injury concerns, so you'll have to just wait and see what the diagnosis is there, really. The points I scored is on the screen, top right, or it will be. I'm sleeping on Douglas Luiz. I can't believe it's taken this long for someone to mention Douglas Luiz. He's not going to my team. It's not happening. It's just not happening. I know he got an assist. Fair enough. But like, who am I replacing in that midfield? I mean, Palmer, but I haven't got the money to do it. Actually, I do just about have the money to go from Palmer to Douglas Luiz, but it still ain't happening. No chance. In the past, you spoke how EO was a factor. I don't think I've done that, but and coverage was required of a highly owned team's defense. I don't think I've said that. Do you not feel that is the case anymore? I mean, you should get a defender who's from a good defense that's got good fixtures. The effective ownership shouldn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to say I've never said that. I don't want to say I've definitely not said that, but it doesn't sound like something I would have said over the last year or two, to be honest with you. I mean, this season, I'm not even checking effective ownership. Like, I know that I think top 10k or something, Haaland was like 70% and Watkins was 107. That's only because I've seen people talk about it. I'm not even checking it, honestly. I think, yeah, I think it's just better to not know. I think people make too many silly decisions based on effective ownership. Like, I'm not checking... The only time I'm really checking my rank midweek as well is, like, on the last game. That's it. And especially if I've got players in that game, then I'm more happy to check it. If I've got no players in it, I won't even check it. I just think it's better, because people just spend all weekend checking their rank. It goes up and down. It frustrates them when it's down. It's better when it's up. It's better off not checking, honestly. Presumably you'll start João Pedro. I mean, if I think he'll start, but presumably he will start, so I probably will. But he's on the bench because I'm just frustrated at him. That's where he's staying for now. If Eze is back for the next fixture, is he worth grabbing? I would think about it, but is he? Presumably he will come straight back into the team as soon as he's fit. But could they give him a run off the bench first and then play in the game after that? That'd be the worry, really. Yeah, Douglas Luiz, more returns, absolutely. But I got no interest in him, honestly. No interest at all. And also, the good fixtures for Villa don't last that long anyway. So, yeah, he's not coming in. I'm happy to die on the Douglas Luiz is not a good FPL pick hill. Just like I did with James Ward-Prowse. By the way, no one seems to want to talk about James Ward-Prowse anymore. But he's blanked 5 games in a row, just in case anyone was keeping track. I think that's probably the same as Rashford, to be honest. Spoke about Gabriel benching already. Not really hugely worried about it just yet. I mean, I might be worried in game week 12, possibly. Start Gabriel, Burn next week. I'll probably start Burn, to be honest. Neto's situation is bad. It's a hamstring injury, but I don't know how bad it is. City defence in the past, Cancelo was considered a must-own. Yeah, but that's not because of effective ownership. That's because he was extremely attacking and played for Man City, and he was cheap. So that's not really the set. It's not really because his ownership was high. And if you couldn't afford him, it was to get at least one Man City defender. But that's because Man City defence is good, right? Like, even now, if Man City had... Like, I wouldn't get a Man City defender probably right now because the fixtures aren't great. Obviously, this week being a bit different. But yeah, I mean, Cancelo was a different story. Asking because Newcastle and Arsenal defence are both highly owned. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal defence is good because they're, top 3 defence in the league probably, and their fixtures are good. Newcastle have had really good fixtures. Their ownership is high because they've done really well. But I'm not... I mean, it's not that I'm not worried, right? Every time Newcastle play, I know how highly owned Trippier is. I know what he could do to my rank. But as I mentioned probably 157 times last week, I had to make a sacrifice. And for me, it was either Son or Saka, I guess, or Trippier. And I decided to go for Son or Trippier. And it's worked out well this week. It might not do next week. But I was just willing to bet against him because of the fixtures. I just think those 3 home games, like, they are good enough to get clean sheets in 1 or 2 of those games. But Arsenal will probably score. I think Man United, usually I'd back them to score. Maybe I'm a little bit less confident right now. But still, it's only 1 goal to wipe out that clean sheet. Man United have got the players to do it. If they can, I don't know, play even like 5 minutes of football. And then, you know, if Chelsea got 1 goal in them, maybe. But that's why I've gone against him. Obviously, the Wolves game was nice for people that don't have Newcastle. But again, it's not like a... Again, I feel just like a broken record the last couple of weeks. Like, nobody is essential. Nobody is essential. And there was like 5 players that I thought people were really looking at last week. Salah, Haaland, Watkins, Son and Trippier. Some people were able to afford all of them, as I found out on the deadline stream. But for those of us that didn't have the team value, someone had to go. And you had to make your choice. Some people don't have Haaland. Some people don't have Trippier. Some people don't have Son. Some people don't have Salah. And you just make your choice. So don't worry about effective ownership. That's my long answer to don't worry about effective ownership. Thought you'd be starting up another Foden versus Mbeumo tracker after losing the bet. Nah, I don't want to lose any more money, but I knew Mbeumo would be better than Foden. Like, from now until the end of the season, Mbeumo scores more points if they both remain fit, I think. Nailed on. Penalties, 90 minutes. What more do you want? I say, as I've just wildcarded him out, but it is what it is. It's annoying now because not only is he just hauled, he's also got West Ham. Like, he's got the best fixture of what would have... So between game weeks 10 and 13, he's got the best fixture of the lot now after hauling already against Chelsea. I was hoping he'd drop in price again, but I don't think that's going to happen now. Haaland is essential no matter how many people want to say he isn't. He's not, though. He's not. I mean, there's plenty of people that have done really well the last 3 weeks without him. Even this week when he's got 16 points, there's people that have beaten me. Again, they might not have beaten you with Haaland, but they've beaten me with Haaland. So you can't be completely essential. Like, if you've not got Haaland this week, you're captain in Salah almost certainly against Luton away, I would say. Is he capable of matching Haaland? I would say yes. And then after that, Haaland's got some trickier fixtures again, so you could go elsewhere. Am I worried about not having Man United options for their easy fixture run? No, I'm not worried at all, to be honest. I mean, I did briefly, for like 10 seconds, consider I could do like Saka to Fernandes this week, but he's just picked up his 4th yellow card, so 1 more and he's suspended. Rashford just cannot score at all at the moment. Like, I don't think they'd be the worst punts because of the fixtures, but it's only really 3 good games and 2 of them are away. I mean, they got Bournemouth in game week 16, but who wants a Man United player from now until game week 16? Probably not. Drop Soberslide, kept Sterling. What a disaster. That's an interesting decision considering the fixtures. Bench Trippier or Udogie? Probably Udogie. Especially if he's injured. I have both, but I captain Salah. Is that a good decision? I mean, I thought Salah was better than Haaland this week. Didn't work out. These things happen. I think it was a perfectly reasonable decision. Don't think it was awful. Should I do Maddison to Bowen 1 transfer or not? I don't think so. I mean, why do you want to sell Maddison? I mean, it could be just because you really want Bowen, in which case do it, but I don't think so. I already answered the Gabriel and Burn question. Start Udogie or Gabriel? Probably Udogie. The days aren't much. The days aren't much far when everyone is on Haaland captaincy. So yeah, Haaland is essential. I'm not sure what that means. Thoughts on switching in Hwang Hee-chan as cheap midfielder for game week 11 against Sheffield United? Sure. If you need a cheap midfielder against Sheffield United, go for it. I mean, like I've already said, I think for his price, he's a really good option. Like he's probably their main goal threat. I do think Wolves might suffer a little bit without Neto, but it wouldn't put me off going for Hwang for his price. And the fixtures are pretty good for Wolves, so yeah. But like for my team, for example, I just don't need him really. I mean, you could make an argument that Palmer to Hwang is an option to do, but I think Palmer at 4.9 million is just worth holding on to for now. He's just so cheap. Is it time to wildcard? No, probably not. I'd say most people who didn't wildcard in 10 probably don't need it this week. But again, you'd have to weigh that up for your own team, really. Craig Dawson's a 1 week punt. I mean, it could work out, but unless you're wildcarding next week, what? There's 2 transfers, right? Get him in, get him out. Probably not worth it. Thoughts on Newcastle players for the big 6 in the next 6 games? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a lot. I mean, my answer is no different to last week. I don't think they're as good as they were the previous 5 or 6 weeks because the fixtures are worse. But I think if you've got Trippier, I'd probably hold on to him, right? It's a home game. He's still creating chances, and then it's Bournemouth away the week after. So you probably just keep hold of him for 2 weeks and then reassess. And then you do that, and then you're getting closer to the good fixtures starting up again. But, like, as with anything in FPL, you can't really give one answer for every situation, right? It might be that some of you think you really need an upgrade in midfield. Like, you decided to go without Son, you've realised maybe, or in your opinion, that's a mistake, and so you want to rectify that. You need some money. Maybe the best way is to take out Trippier for a cheaper defender, in which case maybe you sell him. But I wouldn't be looking at my Newcastle players now thinking, right, they've got to go because they drew with Wolves 2-2. And I certainly wouldn't be taking most of them out for a hit either. I'd probably just hold on to them. And also, going back to what I talked about earlier, the fact that there's just so many good options. And I said this before I wildcarded, right? I was wildcarding out really good players for really good players, and it could go wrong. It didn't go massively wrong, but it could have. I think that's why hits... Like, if you need a hit, you need a hit. I've always said that. But I'd be really careful about taking out good players for hits. I think it's easy to talk yourself into it, and it doesn't always work. Like in Burmo, for example, what did I say last week? He wasn't a bad sell at all, even though that was completely wrong, by the way. But I wouldn't do it for a hit. And it's similar for players like Trippier now. Ross Gunn got in a dinger. Nice. Wonder if he'll start the next 2 games. Nearly scored today. I think he probably will. He's clearly first choice right wing. And Ansu Fati and João Pedro keep getting used central. I mean, they can play in other positions, but they mainly get used central. Matoma's minutes are pretty good, so Adingra is not going to be needed on the left. But even if Matoma was to get a rest, it could be that Adingra plays there instead. So I think he'll probably start the next 2 game weeks. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, the rotation's fine because Brighton do have, in certain positions, they got a lot of options. But some players are going to have to play multiple games. It's not like Brighton are the only team where players play multiple games in a row, right? We see that like with loads of other teams as well. So I think whatever. Yeah, I think Adingra is probably fine. How is Raptor feeling without Haaland? Probably great because I expect his team did really well. He got 66 points, yeah, so what, 7 less than me, but he's absolutely smashed it the last couple of weeks. I suspect he's feeling probably quite great about his FPL team, to be honest with you. Mbermo back in 14 was always the plan, yeah. Matoma to Mbermo in 14. I mean, obviously, I wish I just had Mbermo now and 1 less transfer, but I'm hoping Matoma can do me some good over the next couple of weeks. To be honest, we need a Brighton team early leaker, otherwise we can't play Brighton players. I think for players like Matoma, it's fine. Gross and Dunk. But yeah, João Pedro is a problem. I have Ansu Fati. When he plays, I think he looks good, but he will not start every game. Should I keep or sell? I'd probably keep him. I think players like Ansu Fati and João Pedro have got a good chance of starting against Everton because they didn't play today and they've got no midweek game. But I can't guarantee that, obviously, because it's Brighton. Bowen to Mbermo and Maddison to Saka. I mean, for free, maybe for free, but I probably wouldn't. I think Maddison's probably better than Saka this week, to be honest with you. I think Chelsea at home is easier than Newcastle away. And Bowen and Mbermo's probably better than Bowen, but next 3 game weeks, Bowen's probably better. So I probably wouldn't do that this week. I probably wouldn't sell either of them. I kept Soboslai for 5 weeks. He blanked every single one. And when sold for Salah, he returned and I kept Sterling. Did you say that already? I feel like someone already said that to me. Thoughts on Edison as a long-term option? I mean, I wouldn't go there just yet. The fixtures aren't great for Man City, even though they are such a good defence. 5.5 million, I just wouldn't wrap that much money in a goalkeeper right now. I just don't think it's worth it. Plus, they blank in game week 18, although you could just bench him, of course. Is Antonio a hold? I don't think Antonio is a very good option. I think his underlying numbers have just fallen off a cliff. I think a lot of West Ham fans seem to think he's not playing great. Like, he played 56 minutes today against Everton, 0 XG, 0.01. Sorry, yeah, 0 XG, 0.01 expected assists. He played 89 minutes against Aston Villa, 0.04 expected goals, 0 expected assists. He played 74 minutes against Newcastle, 0 XG, 0 expected assists. It's just not there anymore. He started every game this year. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the last 7 games, he has not racked up more than 0.12 XG. And I know it's small sample sizes and all that, but his numbers have fallen off a cliff. He's not a good FPL option, no matter what the fixtures are for West Ham, I don't think. He'll continue to be subbed early, and at some point, maybe he'll lose his place. I don't know. I don't know if that will happen, because I feel like, as a profile with striker, he offers something different to Ings. But... And I love Maddison, right? If you've been I love Antonio. If you've been watching for a long time, you know that, but it's just not there right now. I mean, this is going to sound a bit knee-jerk because he just scored today, and no one was talking about him before. But if we're talking about let's say that João Pedro needs to go. Okay, if I sell him right now, I've got 5.9 million to spend, and let's just assume that I don't want to upgrade it anywhere else. One player not been talked about a lot, but is playing quite regularly at the moment. And it's not Nketiah. Oh, hang on a sec. Actually, let me just check something here. If I go to, I'm trying to bring out the bigger web page so we can see it. Yes, and I also need to delete the webcam. Sorry, hang on. Okay. So if I just go to this page now. Yeah, so under 6 million. Yes, Calvert-Lewin, exactly. Scored today. His numbers are okay. We know what he can do, though, based on the past. And he's playing quite regularly at the moment. 88 minutes against West Ham, 60 against Liverpool, 82 against Bournemouth, 90 against Luton. The only problem is the fixtures coming up aren't great. I mean, Brighton at home is not a bad fixture. And let's remember last year when Everton did one over on Brighton. Then his Palace away is okay, I guess. Man United at home, good fixture. Forest away. They're just... The Everton fixtures just never have like a really good run. Like, look, they could do some... They could get goals in all of Brighton, Palace, Man United and Forest, but it's not like a really good run. And then it's Newcastle, then it's Chelsea, well then it's Burnley, which is good, but then it's Spurs, then it's Man City. They just never have like a really good run. The other player that Praz has kind of mentioned to me a few times is Edouard. He's only missed 1 game so far, and he wasn't in the squad, so I think he was injured against Man United. He's played every single game. His underlying numbers, I mean, they're okay, but I mean, he's cheap, right? What do you expect? Or what you're asking for? 5.5 million. Burnley away, Everton at home, Luton away, West Ham away, Bournemouth at home. I mean, he's not a bad option for the next 5 game weeks. But I think what I'll probably do is just keep João Pedro and play him. I think that's probably the right thing to do. And just be frustrated when he doesn't start and Palmer gets a penalty against Spurs. Calvert-Lewin is a bit injury prone, but he is showing a bit of fitness at the moment, right? He's playing a lot of games in a row, getting a lot of minutes. But obviously he is a bit of a risk, as you know, it is possible for him to kind of break down at any point. Matoma is a baller versus trash right backs next few game weeks. I mean, I hope so. Who are they playing though? Who's trash? Everton have already had their good run, which they were terrible in. Yes, okay, but... Yeah, okay, I'm not probably going to buy Calvert-Lewin because of the fixtures, but one, Calvert-Lewin was injured for a lot of that, and he's a very good striker when he's fit. And also, their expected goals and expected goals against were really good. And they didn't really capitalise on that a lot. And I think if they could keep generating those chances, not as much maybe, but similar levels, I think Calvert-Lewin scores. But anyway, I won't buy him anyway because of the fixtures. So I just think, but he's only 5.8 million. I think you have to set your expectations a bit different for a player that costs that much, right? You know, you're not expecting 2 or 3 goals in any of the games, but if you can get 1 and bonus points for 5.8 million, it's probably right. You didn't have Taylor for Gabriel replacement. Some people put Gay ahead of Taylor on the bench, so they didn't get Taylor either. You've bagged 101 points this week without any chips. Manager of the week. Probably not, but I would still be pretty happy with 101 points. That is proper decent. Proper decent. Am I going to jump right back on Estepinian? When he's fit, yeah, I think so. I think I'd love to see him start in game weeks 11 or 12 because I want to sell cash for him. I think I keep cash for Forest away and Fulham at home. And then game week 13. Oh, this is messed up. Then game week 13, I'm more than happy to sell him, really, because you got Spurs away in 13, Man City in 15, Arsenal at home in 16. So probably sell him at that point. But we'll see. I'm willing to change my mind on that. I mean, I've got the money to go from Gabriel to Estepinian. I've got the money to go from Gay to Estepinian. So lots of options. Lots of options at the moment. Is Dunk an option? I mean, they are coming into good fixtures, but they still can't get clean sheets, so that would worry me a little bit. I mean, they will get clean sheets at some point. They're not going to go the whole season without any. But it's not great at the moment. I just think, like, you're only buying Dunk because Estepinian's not an option. If Estepinian was out for months, maybe we go Dunk, but I think Estepinian will be back sometime soon. I think he is the obvious one to go for. He's just so attacking. Is Wilson a good punt with Isak's injury record? I mean, yes, as long as you think he's going to keep playing, which I think he will when he's fit and available. But I do just, like, if he has to play weekend, midweek Champions League, then weekend again, I'm not sure how long he would last having to play all those games. Am I contemplating Ferguson at all? Yeah, not really. Not really. I mean, there is part of me that thinks I've made a massive mistake on João Pedro, which I probably have, and that actually I should have given Ferguson more thought, because I actually think it might not always work like this, but I think in the Europa League he might keep this João Pedro and Ansu Fati like 9, 10. They kind of swap them, right? One will start as a 9, but then they'll drop deeper. The other one will go higher, and then just keep Ferguson every other week for the Premier League until Welbeck is back, because Ferguson cannot play 3 games in a week. I just don't think he can. They're always managing him. But I do think when he's fit, he'll probably play most league games at the moment. So I might have got that wrong slightly on his minutes. But I still don't think it's a guarantee. So I think if I sell João Pedro, I will probably just sell him and get rid of him and not get another Brighton player. It's just not worth the headache every single week. Thoughts on Chris Wood? All other Nottingham forwards are injured. He didn't even start today, I don't think, right? I might have that wrong, but I'll double check. Yeah, he didn't even start. And I think Howani was on the bench. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. When am I planning to play Palmer? When I need him, really. He's just a good backup, isn't he? Maybe this week instead of João Pedro. Maybe game week 14 against Brighton. What were your captain choices ranked for this week? For game week 10, you mean? Salah, Saka, Watkins, then Haaland. If you mean for game week 11, then I'd say Haaland, then Salah. And then take your pick, really. I don't think there is another standout. Simicast is going up in price tonight. Early transfer, Porro to Simicast. I mean, there is a few. I think there's Carabao Cup this week, I believe. Is there European games? I don't think so. Let me see. No, I don't think there's Champions League games or anything. I think it's just Carabao Cup, I believe. So there might be some players that get injured. I mean, is Porro to Simicast a big rush? If you're going to be stuck for fun soon, then maybe do it. Did Brighton play a 3-4-3 today on Sky Sports? It has Matoma left wing back. I don't think he was playing as a wing back, but I think they did build up in the back three. But I didn't see the game. It wasn't on TV. Haven't seen it in full. Do I think I'll make a move next week? Probably not, but obviously an injury might force my hand. I think I've bought these players for a reason, right? And again, I've got to keep telling myself that although João Pedro has been frustrating already after 1 week, essentially he is just an expensive bench player for me. So if I had Cameron Archer, I would just be playing this anyway. So I don't think I need a move as it stands. You have taken a negative 16 points to bring in Haaland. Why? I had to remove Saka. Why? Edison. He's got Bournemouth at home. And Romelo, I guess that's Romero. I did so because I fear Haaland's price might go up. Can it go up from 14 million? I mean, it can, but are you going to be priced out of 14.1? I don't think you needed to do that. But at the same time, you've already done it, so it doesn't really matter. The ticket does say 400 instead of 400k. You are right. Thank you very much. I don't even think you need to take a -4 necessarily to get Haaland in, let alone a -16. I couldn't believe why content creators weren't recommending Haaland as captain. Nottingham Forest have a better defence than Man United. Well, I mean, Nottingham Forest just conceded 3 goals. So, I mean, Man United conceded 3 goals and Nottingham Forest conceded 3 goals. So I don't really get your point. Surely you'll change the bench order so Gabriel is ahead of Taylor. No, Taylor's got Crystal Palace at home. Not exactly a great attack. I think Newcastle score against Arsenal. I need a replacement for Isak. Any suggestions? I mean, Alvarez got a good fixture this week. Still nice and cheap. Watkins as well. Nunez is a punt. If Neto won't play, should I transfer him out on a free transfer? I can also play a back 4. I mean, if you've got a decent backup on the bench and you don't want to make a transfer just yet, then you could do that, yeah? Man United should have conceded 6. Sure. I don't think the numbers would probably tell you that. In fact, I'll double check them right now. Let me see how many. Let me see what expected goals Man United and. So Nottingham Forest conceded 2.95 expected goals conceded. 2.95 expected goals. Man United could have been worse. Could have been worse. It was worse, 3.94. So, yeah, maybe you're right. Although there's a penalty included in that. So once you take away the penalty, it's quite close. But anyway, the point is, you're saying that why didn't we recommend Haaland? Because Man City scored 3 goals. Well, so did Liverpool. Just so happens that Haaland was involved in all 3 and Salah wasn't. Right, it happens, right? But I don't think anyone said that Haaland was an awful captain. Just didn't have him number 1, or in my case, 2 or 3. I mean, I hate to spoil it for you, but content creators will not get every single decision right. You wouldn't take no. I'm not saying take the penalty away from the total goals. I'm just saying when I'm looking at a team, like if I'm looking at a player or a team in terms of expected goals, I always remove the penalties because you just can't predict them. So if I'm comparing one player with another, I'll always look at the non-penalty expected goals. But you do have to put context around it, and obviously if 2 players are the same and one takes penalties, then you'd always prioritise that for sure. Anyway, Haaland was a good captain this week. Yes, I didn't put him number 1. I'm terrible. Palmer is a must-have. Nope. But he's a really good option though, yeah? I have Gabriel, Lascelles and Archer on the bench. What order should I have them? Probably... I mean, Archer didn't even start, so he's not a guaranteed starter anyway now. I don't know if... It's not like Brewster did amazing or anything. Sheffield United have got Wolves at home, so I'd probably put Archer, then whoever. I can't even remember what your other 2 were now, and I've lost the thing. Isn't this content creator like 2 million in the world? I mean, you could just read what's on the screen. I'm not annoyed. I'm not annoyed about it. I'm just saying, like, there's no point in saying, why didn't you recommend Haaland? We knew that Man United would concede 3 goals and the Forest defence was better when they also conceded 3 goals. That's what I'm saying. It just feels like a bit of hindsight, that's all. Who do you think is must-have? I mean, no one, but who do I think is really good right now? Haaland, Salah, Son, Saka, Saliba, probably. Tsimikas, Areola. None of them are must-have, but they're all pretty good. Watkins, although Villa's fixtures do turn soon, so if you haven't already got him, the good fixtures are starting to run out. Tsimikas for Pau this week or not? Probably not, no. I mean, Pau Torres has got Forest away and then what? Fulham at home, I think it is. So you don't need to get rid of him at all. Just play him in both of those games. I've not seen any news about Udogie, no. Onana looked a lot better today. I think out of all the Man United players, Onana was the only one to come out of any credit today. I thought he was pretty good. So good saves. Like I know, like I put like Anana, what a save for that Haaland header, and some people were like, well, it was straight at him. But I think it was straight at him because of his recovery to get back to that left side. I think it was just a good save. And yeah, definitely, Man United could have conceded more today. I do agree with that for sure. Sorry if I mentioned earlier, but I can't believe that Neto got injured as I bring him in. Who do you think is the best replacement? I mean, it really depends how much money you've got to spend. But if you want to spend his money or less, you've probably got the likes of Gordon, Hwang, players like that. Good content creators help you think about your own team. They're not here to help you make decisions for you. No, I mean, that's what I try and do. I try and present both sides if I can. Googie Bear is obviously not happy with my content, but is for some reason spending their Sunday evening watching. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate the views. Is Mason Mount an option? I mean, he's been benched again, so no, definitely not. Start a Newcastle defender or Arsenal defender. I think in most cases I'd probably go for the Newcastle defender. I think I just back the. I think they're both good defenses, and Newcastle are at home, and that would be the reason. Trippier and Palmer or Tsimikas and Bowen. Right now, probably Tsimikas and Bowen. Like, if you had to play them every week. I think Palmer is a great, cheap option to enable everything else. I think Trippier is a generally pretty good option right now as well. But in terms of playing every week, I think Tsimikas has got better fixtures, and so's Bowen. Why keepers so bad this year? Maybe it's just all the extra minutes. Dunk or Tsimikas? I think Tsimikas is just such a good price at the moment. Fixtures are so good. Got to appreciate the hate viewers feel sorry for it. Obviously, I appreciate people supporting and watching the stream. It's amazing. But the ones that like get really frustrated with you, but they spend their evening watching you, I just find it so weird. Like, surely they've got better things to do with their life than watch someone they don't want to watch. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's very strange. Should Ten Hag be sacked? I don't want him to be sacked. I don't like this like constant wanting managers to be fired all the time, but something has to change. It's not going to be the ownership. I just don't know what the other choice is. I wouldn't sack him right now, but the next 3 fixtures are Fulham, Luton, and Everton. You cannot keep playing like this and like get away with it. Essentially, something has to change, and Man United have to look good over these next 3 games. They don't even like. I was speaking to someone in the gym the other day, another Man United fan. And I've always I've not disagreed, but when people say, I don't care if we win as long as we like play well or we look like we've got a clue or we play attacking football, I've always thought, yeah, you say that, but really you want to win. But actually right now I just like Man United to play some good football, whether they win or not, because it's just turgid. It's terrible. There's just no. I don't know what the plan is. You watch Man City, and they got all their intricate passing. They're always looking to pass forward. And if they can't get anywhere, they recycle it. They go again. It's just constant, like over and over again, the same pattern. And look, sometimes watching Man City can be quite boring, but it is very effective. And it wasn't that boring today, I'd say, if you weren't a Man United fan. And like with Man United, I just don't know. And like, it's not like he hasn't been backed. Mount's on the bench. Anthony's on the bench. Amrabat on loan. He's been hooked at half time. It's just not fun right now. It's just not fun. And I'm not like a. I mean, sometimes I will like react during a game, like a lot of people do, overreact sometimes. But I'm not like one of those people that's like, boom, Ten Hag's got to go every time we lose. But it's just not working. It's just not working. Like to bring on, I mean, Anthony costs ridiculous amounts of money, and he comes on with 5 minutes left. It's just weird. Crying more. Oh god, it's like it's like being on Twitter. I'm not crying. I'm talking about the game. United are still well above Chelsea in the table. Why not fire Pochettino first? I mean, I'm sure Chelsea fans are a little bit frustrated with Pochettino as well, but the question was about Man United, I guess. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Man United. It's bad enough that I have to watch them play. My wife went out and did some volunteering today, and she left about, I don't know, not long after the Man United game started, but just before it started, she said, "Are you sure you want to watch this?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to watch it really, but you've got to, haven't you? You've got to watch it." Man United needs Tadic and Tagliafico. Yeah, just 50 million each. Job done. I think Chelsea have done better than the results have shown generally. Now, I've not seen the Brentford game before. It was on in the pub I was in, but I didn't. It was like a really small screen. I couldn't see it properly. But in general, I think Chelsea have been all right. Is Nketiah a serious option? We really need to know how long Jesus is out for. The problem is you've missed the Sheffield United game now, so you're not going to buy him before Newcastle away. I don't think that's a great use of a transfer. And then obviously, having him for Burnley at home could be great. And the fixtures after that are pretty good for Arsenal. But you've got the international break between game weeks 12 and 13. So if you're not buying him for Newcastle and then you buy him for Burnley, 2 weeks later, could Jesus be back? Maybe. Like Jesus, the last couple of times, definitely the last time I feel like, maybe the time before that, he seems to come back. He's not that quick to come back. I don't know. Is that wrong? Arsenal fans, let me know. I haven't tracked his injuries as much as you probably have. But I feel like he took a little while to get back last time. Or maybe it was last season, actually. But either way, I feel like it's probably not going to be the right time to buy Nketiah now, unless Arteta says Jesus is out for 2 months, in which case Nketiah becomes a really good option. When am I going to upload non-FPL content? I remember you doing the Ronaldo interview and like the insight. I don't know. I mean, I tried streaming again recently for FIFA. I think I'm done with that. Just streaming, like not streaming FPL, but just streaming games. It's just you have to do it for so long. So in terms of like football content, maybe, yeah, maybe. The thing is, there's so many people that do football content that are just so good. I just feel like an imposter. Just don't think I'll be as good. So that kind of puts me off. You said rather play Burn than Gabriel, but would you play Taylor? Would I play Taylor ahead of an Arsenal and Newcastle defender? Well, not Trippier probably. But generally, I think I maybe would. I mean, I've got Taylor ahead of Gabriel. Does everyone think that's wrong? I mean, sometimes with decisions like that, I try and not think about them too much. I just do what my initial instinct is. And straight away, I had Taylor ahead of Gabriel on the bench. You still feeling Saka low XG and Pen seem to be anyone's? Yeah. Yes, I think so. He wasn't as involved as I would have liked against Sheffield United. I mean, look at those numbers. Terrible. I mean, the numbers last couple of games have been pretty bad, but before that, a bit better. I don't know. I just still think Arsenal attack is worth... Like, Arsenal... Yeah, Arsenal's fixtures are good, sorry, is what I'm trying to say, for attackers. And I think he is the best attacker to go for. I mean, look, again, Nketiah gets a run in the team. He's incredible value and maybe even a better option than Saka. But I think for now I'm okay. I do think, and I kind of realised I'd have got it wrong last week. I do think I had Saka ahead of Son on my wildcard. I think that's right. I think Son is a much better option than Saka at the moment. So if I had to downgrade someone right now to fund another move, like it had to be done, Saka would probably be high up on that list. And Watkins would be there or thereabouts as well. I think Son, Salah and Haaland I don't want to get rid of while they're all fit and available. So Saka, I wouldn't say he's on the chopping block, right? He's got Burnley at home in game week 12. They've got Luton coming up as well. Like he's not going anywhere. I'm just saying if I had to downgrade someone, he would probably be ahead for being downgraded before someone like Son. But for now, I'm just keeping hold of him. Right, it's Burnley soon. There's no point worrying about that. I wouldn't feel like an imposter, but the opinions of the creator is the product. If people like the FPL insight, I'm sure there's definitely an audience for. Yeah, for football, I'm sure there is. You just got to be consistent with stuff like that. I just don't know if I want to do it like consistently. But we'll see. One day. There's just too many good, like James Alcott, for example. Like the stuff he does is so good, and I just feel like a fraud trying to compete. Super chat, just to say thanks, man. The majority of us appreciate it. Thank you very much. And as always, by the way, I know sometimes I do not snap back, but I will acknowledge someone that's like hating or whatever. But honestly, it's almost the amount of people that kind of hate versus that don't. It's so small. So I do appreciate everyone else, even though sometimes I will clap back at someone watching a channel they just don't like, wasting their personal time. Didn't watch it, but a lot of people said Saka had a bad game. I watched the whole game, and it's not like I don't remember him doing anything bad. I just don't remember him doing much, which I guess you could say is the epitome, I guess you could say, of having a bad game. yeah, just nothing like. It's not even that nothing came off. I just don't really remember him doing too much. I mean, I can say the same about Havertz as well. Like, just neither of them were like massively involved, I would say. I mean, obviously, Nketiah's third goal was an absolute banger from outside the box. So yeah, I wouldn't say I had a great game, Saka, but I just think the fixtures they got coming up, I still think he's the best attacker. If we forget about Nketiah for a second, I still think Saka's better than Martinelli and better than Odegaard for sure. So I think he's fine for now. But again, he's not essential. And I did say this last week, and I'm not trying to say that I said you shouldn't get him, right? Absolutely not. In fact, he was like one of the first names on my wild card. And in a lot of cases, if you had a free transfer, but people were taking hits, people were taking Son out, and I just thought he wasn't that essential. So he's a really good option, but no one's essential right now. Broken record alert. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I think Varane might have had a bit of a knock. I don't think he was fully fit, which is why he didn't play. I could be wrong. Should I put Diaby in? He's been good so far. I think the time might have passed on Diaby. I mean, again, you can frame the fixtures how you want. Like, you could look at it and say, well, they've got Forest away, Fulham at home, Bournemouth away in the next 4. They've also got Spurs away in 13. So I feel like you've got 2. I mean, Forest away is all right. Then Fulham at home is pretty good. But then you run straight into Spurs away. And then in 15 and 16, you got Man City and Arsenal. So I think the time to have Diaby was probably game week 10. Oh, Ten Hag said it was tactical. I must have missed that. That's mad. Not having Varane. That's such a strange decision. So yeah, I don't know about Diaby. I just think by game week 13, maybe after 14, you're probably getting rid of him. And also, like from game week 14, I think Mbeumo is a much better option anyway. Out of all the players in your FPL, who would be the player you'd most like to take out on a date? I would take out. I'd have to go with Salah, the king of FPL. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there because I've just I would say we've been going an hour and 15 minutes, but with all the issues at the start, the tech issues, it's probably a little bit less than that. But thank you very much for joining me. Obviously, all the normal content to come this week. It's also a Saturday deadline, so the final thoughts video will be after the press conferences this week, which I think is much better. If you did enjoy that video, as always, make sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button. I'm just going to check I didn't miss any super chats. Play Declan Rice or Decore this week? I think you've got to play Decore, haven't you? Yeah, home to Brighton. I'd play Decore. That's the only super chat I missed. Thanks for that. If you listen on podcast, make sure to rate 5 stars. And yeah, I'll leave it there. Andrew, stop panicking. I know. Don't worry. I would take cash out. Well, this week. I'm taking him out in Sky, but not in FPL probably. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Early thoughts tomorrow. Transfer tips, game week preview, team selection, final thoughts, deadline stream on Saturday, all coming this week. So please do look forward to that. If you've enjoyed this stream, as I said, like, subscribe, we much appreciate trying to hit 400k. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will catch you again soon. And I've forgotten to, yeah, there we go. I've forgotten to get the button up ready to end the stream. So now I'm going to end the stream. Thank you very much. I'll catch you later.